Greetings, everyone, and welcome to the Sajdah Saturday Morning Coffee Talk, where we talk about life, love, and business. So while we're waiting for everybody to come on into the room, I'm going to put a few things down here in the chat for us to be paying attention to. Assalamu alaikum, Brother Lamont. Hey, Mom. All right, so we're going to put a few things down here. A student, that's what I'm talking about. Okay, let's see. So I want you to join, make sure you all join the Sajdah Circle of Winners. That's my new thing. We just a circle of winners is what we are. And what we want to do is make sure you sign up for the mailing list. That way you get extra text and information to remind you about some things that I'm doing, some things that other people don't know about, you will know about as the Sajdah Circle of Winner. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Sister Alita, I am Marissa Black. Brother Kevin, good morning, good morning. All right, so let me put this in here. So you're going to text do for self. If I can type right this morning. We got a little motivation that we're going to listen to as soon as I get this in the chat. Okay, it says we pause for, all right, okay, Instagram, don't act a fool. It looks like it's trying to act a fool. If you guys can hear me okay, let me know. Give me a thumbs up. We're going to make comments today. We're not going to chip and dip, y'all. All right, so that's what I was trying to put in there. Sorry it took a minute. There was a lot to... So join the Sajdah Circle of Winners. Just text do... Oops. It's not do 5 self. It's do for self. Let's see. Do for self. This is why you don't need to have nails. Trying to do this. I should... You know what? I'm so silly. I should be using this thing. All right, so text do for self. Just text do for self. I'll put it back in again to 855-574-9099. So what we're going to do today, we're going to start off listening to a little motivation from the legend Les Brown. Les is one of those people that I like to uplift because he was doing and has been and still is doing motivational teaching and training, and all these other people out here, wa alaikum salam, I be doing me, they get more accolades than Les does. So what we're going to do is we want to listen to Les. We're going to keep uplifting Les Sajdah House and talk to us. That would be cool. Assalamu alaikum, Abdul Haq. All right, so let's listen to this.
There are winners.
Give me a thumbs up if you can hear it.
And there are people who have not discovered how to win. Need is some help and assistance, just a little support. All they need is some insight or different strategy or plan of action to make some adjustments that will open up the key to a whole new future for them, that will give them access to the unlimited power that they have within themselves. That's all that they need. So what I want you to do is think about something you want for you, that's real for you, that's important for you, that will give your life some special meaning and power. And I don't even want you to say, I can do that. I don't want you to assume that. See, 5 years ago when I started out in this area, I would not have been able to make the mental leap that I would be up to where I am right now. I don't want you to begin to just psych yourself out. No. I want you to be able to say something to yourself that will enable you to maintain a level of integrity with yourself. That when you say this, even when you face tremendous setbacks, it will be a benchmark to keep you in the game, to keep you moving forward and experimenting and readjusting your strategy and your plan of action, continuously looking for ways to win. So what is that something? When you got an idea you want to move on, you might not have the money, you might not have the education, you might not have the support or the resources you need. What is that something that can keep us going, that will enable us to act on our dream? What's one of those keys that will begin to help us to discover the secrets to our dream? Here's what I want you to repeat after me, please, with power.
Good morning,
and
Nate
conviction.
Boogie.
Say, it's possible.
Say it's possible.
That's all I want you to do when you look at your dream. Just say to yourself every day, it's possible. Just say that every day to yourself, it's possible. Because what does that do? See, it begins to change your belief system. See, the way in which we operate, ladies and gentlemen, is a manifestation of what we believe, what's possible for us. Whatever you've done up to this point, all that it really is a duplication, it's a reproduction of what you believe subconsciously that you deserve and what's possible for your life. Most people operate out of their personal history, out of their memory, things they've done, things they've experienced, things they've seen, things that they have observed. What I'm suggesting that you operate out of a larger vision of yourself. I want you to see yourself doing what you want to do, experiencing what you want to experience, having what you want to have, doing what it is that gives your life some meaning and value. Operate out of your imagination, not your memory. Because whenever you look at where you want to go, I'm going to warn you, you will have some conversation back here after you go through the data that you've experienced in life saying you can't do it. And so what you want to begin to do is ignore that inner conversation. Well, most people, ladies and gentlemen, when something happens to them, what they do is they begin to believe that that's the way it is. That's the way it's always been. And they can't see the possibility of it being any different. Example, before April 1954, the common belief, the universal belief, because it had been tried again and again and again and people had failed, the belief was that man was not physically capable of breaking the 4-minute barrier, that he could not run a mile in less than 4 minutes. That was the belief on the planet. It had never been done. But here's what happened, ladies and gentlemen. Roger Bannister came along, and he broke the 4-minute barrier. Now here's what's significant about that. Since that time, up to this day, over 20,000 people have done it, including high school kids. What changed? 20,000 people, what changed? Here's what happened when they got on the track. They knew it had been done. And because they knew it had been done, there was a new belief about this barrier, about this goal that was unreachable. And those 20,000 people got in a race believing, knowing in their heart that someone had done it, that it's possible, that they could do it. And I'm saying that if you know anybody that had some goal, some dream, something they want, I'm saying that you know in your heart that if someone has done it, then you can do it. It's possible. And that if someone can make their dream become a reality, that it's possible that you can make your dream become reality.
So I hope our Instagram is going in and out this morning, so it's a little interesting. It'll be an interesting conversation. But Brother Lamont snatched the words right out of my brain. We want to talk about destroying the impossible. Destroying the impossible in your mind simply by saying something about your dreams. It's possible. Not the things, oh Lord, help me. Oh, I know he got me. Oh, I know this, or oh, I can do it. But it's possible. Real simple. Real simple. You want to reduce those conversations you have with yourself about whatever it is you're trying to do down to something very simple. It's possible. I also sometimes add things like, it's logical. It makes sense. It's possible. Real simple. Don't get all complicated. Don't say, well, if everybody else can do it, then so can I. Because now you're introducing doubt into the equation. You see, and this week we talked about how to love. Like, how do we really love? And part of it is saying it's possible. It's possible to love, because some of us have been hurt so badly. Some of us got so much stuff we got going on. Some of us have been programmed so severely incorrectly that it takes baby steps to get us back to the other side. We talked about an exercise where, I don't know how many of you put a thumbs up in the chat if you heard the exercise I gave you all earlier this week. And that was where you imagine something that you love and you feel that in your heart and you feel that love coursing through your body and you just sit there with it and enjoy it. And then you start figuring out how to call up that feeling at various points and times throughout the day. So in the morning, you get up and you think about something you love, how it feels, what it feels like coursing through your body. And then as you go on throughout your day, before you have your midday prayers and your midday meditation, you find that space of love. Calibrate yourself to that space of love. Then you go on throughout the evening. Before you have your evening prayers and your evening meditation, you calibrate yourself to that space of love. And you keep doing it to the point where pretty soon, every time you get a contrary feeling, you paying attention to how you feel, and you can switch that light. You can switch that light bulb. You can click the switch and go back to love in an instant, in a second. We talked about that. We talked about another exercise, just doing something nice for somebody. See, this predatory world makes us think, I got to get that coin, I got to get mine, they got to get theirs, I ain't worried about it. And I'm not saying that you got to roll up your sleeve and be all in for somebody who ain't all in for themselves, but you can be nice to somebody. You cannot practice what is so common out here, which is making people feel bad. And we talked about in the post about how because we are trauma victims, because we have been made to feel bad for 400 and something years, you can just go all the way back through history. We've just been made to feel badly. We've been made to feel like we don't matter. And so because we've experienced that for so long, what has happened is that we now associate feeling badly with power. So when a person they got the power to make us feel bad, they make us feel bad, they can literally alter our entire feel bad, so they must be in power. So we start to associate making someone feel bad with power. And so a lot of us get into power and it's all about, how can I exert control? Well, control is making somebody feel bad. Whether I withdraw from them, whether I say hurtful things to them, whether I use deceptive intelligence and call it keeping it real. But I'm not coaching and training people from a loving standpoint to get results in their life. I'm coaching and training them to make them feel bad. And so some of us, that's our practice in life. And that's why we don't love one another, because we're really mimicking this predator that has taught us to hate. See, we talk about this all the time, how Tom Burrell says at a certain point, the brainwashed becomes the brainwasher. So what happens? This whole Willie Lynch, this whole Yakub mindset keeps going over and over again, and pretty soon we start to do it to one another. We start to do it to ourselves. And then we say, why can't we just love one another? Well, we can't love one another because we're not practicing love. So we're going to do this again this Saturday. We're going to pick 2 people that we can support and we can love. See, you can sit there all day long on your island and say it's all about me. I'm gathering my little chips and I'm going to keep it to myself, and I'm not going to be about helping and be about it with nobody else. Well, guess what? What you give out is what comes back to you. So if you stingy, that's what the universe does with you. Then you get stingy love. If you're generous, then you get generous love. And the idea is you got to decide who you are. Are you a liar? Are you a person with integrity? Well, if you don't have any of these other principles and all you do is lie and try to get up over people, then you're a liar. You're not a person with integrity. Are you a good person or not? What makes you a good person? Do you do something for somebody every once in a while? You make people feel better. Do you think about a cause bigger than yourself? Do you help to save somebody's life every once in a while? Have you ever tried that? Let me stage an intervention. Let me see if I can help somebody. My brother and I were talking the other day about a cousin of ours who, when he saw him 2 years ago, was smoking so many cigarettes. He was so addicted to cigarettes that everywhere throughout his house, he left a cigarette burning so that when he walked into a room, he could just puff. He didn't even have to relight. He just kept, as he moved out throughout the house, there was a cigarette already burning and already there. In the bathroom, in the kitchen, in the living room, in the bedroom. He was coughing terribly. And my brother just decided to take some time and have a talk with him. And he talked to him about his family history and made him feel like it was worth living and that this addiction he could break. Now, he never talked to him after that about it. So he didn't know if he was still smoking or not. Well, when he talked to him a month ago, he said, man, I ain't had a cigarette since you talked to me. See, that's being a good person and saving somebody's life. That's my brother with the cigarette hanging out his mouth. He's also so silly. But yeah, that's how my cousin was living. My brother said that when he spoke to him, he wasn't coughing. But he took the moment and the time to reach his brother, to reach his cousin and say, hey man, you can't live like this. You can't live like this. And that's important. So who are we? Who are we? Who are you? What kind of love do you extend to somebody else? You all hear me say all the time that what I want, that's why I call this the Sajdah Circle of Winners. And I said, text do for self to 855-574-9099 so you can join the mailing list and join the Sajdah Circle of Winners. Because if you're in my circle, then I want you to benefit from being in my circle. I want you to be able to say, I met her and I was able to take my life to another level. I had a conversation with her and I felt like I healed on the inside. See, now we're doing the work of God. We got to save lives. That's right, Brother Jamil. So that's what I want. I want you to say she was an asset to me. She is an asset to me. I met her. She introduced something into the vernacular. She put up a post. She did something that enriched and added to my life. Because that's the person that I want to be. And if you're in my inner circle, you know I will go hard to help you change on a permanent basis what you need to change about yourself, so that you can have the things in life that you want. Because I love God just that much. I love God so much that I want what he wants. And I know that if he wants something for you, then you deserve to have it. And whatever I can do to turn you in that direction, to get you going in the right direction, I'm not going to look at you going down a collision course and then say, ha! He about to crash and burn in a minute. No. Whatever I can do. If I can look at you and say, hey, this is how I can help. This is what I can do. Now, I don't give out money. You can't email me and say, hey, send me $10 or send me $10,000. I don't do that. I don't loan money that I don't feel comfortable if you don't give it back to me. But I will give you an opportunity. I'll help you get in front of some checks. I'll help you turn yourself in the flow of cash. I'll help you get your mindset together so that you feel better about yourself, so that you can attract money. I will do whatever I can to help you figure out something, connect you with somebody. That's what the Black Muslim Business Directory is about. And this is something that I've been doing my entire life. What can I do to help you, to coach you, to guide you, to share with you what I have and what I've been through? If you come to my house, I try to make sure I got a bowl of bean soup, some coffee, some tea, a meal if I have time. Because what I want, so I want to strive to help us see ourselves the way Allah see us. So that's how people say, well, how do you do these extraordinary things? How in the world did you figure out how to build a hospital? Or how are you renovating this home? And how did you save that company from being kicked off the New York Stock Exchange? How did you do that? It's because in those ways of giving and loving, my giving game is on another level. I don't care if I don't do nothing but smile at you. I want my whole presence for you to be able to say, I got to go be around my sister, because I want my sister to help take me to the next level, because I can do that. Why? Because I believe that I can do that, because I believe that is Allah's desire and his dream and his will, not his dream. So we talk about love this week. How do we love one another? Love also extends to having mercy with somebody. Somebody do something wrong, you ain't got to crush them. Does it make sense that you crush them? See, we live in this world where, and I feel bad for brothers all the time, because they call it toxic masculinity. They call it toxic masculinity. Thank you, Brother Jamil. They call it toxic masculinity. And there's this overbearing masculine nature. But I don't like it being called, I don't even like it using the phrase masculinity. Because being masculine, especially for those of us that are feminine, is very sensual, it's very sexy, it's very dependent, it's very beautiful, it's very godlike. So when we see a man who is very masculine, that means something to us as feminine people. But what happens is men are being coached out of being masculine because out here into the culture is toxic. We associate being abusive with being masculine. We associate these negative things with being masculine, and it's not right. So even as women, you see women and they may come out on the stage and they may take all their clothes off and be very provocative, but they're exhibiting masculine, aggressive, toxic behavior. And we say, okay, that's what it means to be a man. That's what it means to be masculine. That's not the case. See, because the man, just by his very presence, is a protector, is a provider. He's somebody you can depend on, somebody you can lean on. His very presence changes the atmosphere of the room because of how solid and firm he is. But see, when we as women have this over masculinity because we don't love our femininity, we negotiate men into being, unreliable, because they don't want to really say anything to us because they think we're going to pop off. We're so aggressive. We already know that our power as women, that if we can say certain things and set a man off, well, we become so aggressive that we set them off, and they either go down an emotional trail or they end up being hurt. And then we say, well, what's wrong with them? Well, the issue is, what's wrong with a person that does not love who they are enough to love somebody else? That's right. Negotiate men into being punks, Brother Jamil. That's exactly the right wording. Negotiating men into being punks. Not because they want to be punks, but because they just don't want to say anything. Because they're not trying to have all the drama. They ain't trying to listen to your mouth. And I'm not downing us as sisters. What I'm talking about is the love piece, because men do it to other men as well. Did you hear what I said? Men do it to other men as well, because we begin to practice this thing of always making somebody feel bad for their opinion, for who they are, for their situation, always making somebody feel bad. And that's what we're being taught, that we exert our power by making that next person feel bad, by crushing their emotions, by telling them about themselves, by being extra aggressive. Oh, you're going to deal with me today. Oh, you're going to deal with this. I'm going to be aggressive. you know, and most of the time you do it to people who you know won't become aggressive back. But that's what we've been taught out here in this world. Make people feel bad. That means power. That's what a trauma victim does. That's what victims of slavery and kidnapping do. Because they've been made to feel bad. They think that feeling bad is normal. They think feeling bad is one of those things that you have to do in order to be superior. Make somebody feel bad, be mean. I don't play that. But when have you decided, let me have some mercy on my brother or sister? They did something bad. Let me just sit down with them and see what I can do to help turn this around for them. To have a conversation. Sometimes people just need support. Sometimes people are so insecure because they're going through something, they're afraid, they're nervous, and they just need support. And if you just show up, just show up and say, you know what? I'm going to do something for you that no one else has ever done. I'm going to be there for you in a way that no one else is there. I'm just going to show up for you. Do you know the type of confidence and the way you will turn a person's life around if you just show up for them? Just show up. Stop practicing this predatory behavior where you think you have power because you can make them feel bad. You can jump down on their neck and choke them to death because that's what you've seen. See, subconsciously, you looking at the police officer with his foot on George Floyd's neck physically. So then you go out and put your foot on somebody's neck emotionally and spiritually because you really think that that's power. That's powerful. The fact that I can tell you no and shut you down makes me powerful. What about love? What about practicing a little love? Okay, you come, you asking for something. Maybe it's ridiculous, but maybe I love you into a better understanding. Maybe I love you into a better way of doing things. That don't make you a punk. See, we think that loving somebody, we equate love with turning the other cheek and with being slaves and being the victim. That's not love. See, love is powerful. Love is a superpower. See, when we are, as business people, introducing much needed goods and services into our community, see, anything that's going to give us relief from this predator can help us. Sometimes you just need a few minutes of relief. But you don't need relief that then is going to make you addictive. You don't need relief from cigarettes. You don't need relief from alcohol, from drugs. I'm not talking about that kind of relief. I'm not talking about relief that's going to put you in a position where somebody's going to be able to control you. I'm talking about relief that's going to uplift you and take you to another level just because you got to feel. See, the very feeling and the very thought that somebody loves me and they didn't try to crush me can change who you are. It can change your whole DNA. It can alter your entire physical structure. Literally. It can set off a whole stream of things. Believe it or not, in your body. A lot of the illnesses and diseases the dis-ease that we suffer from is because of a belief system in our mind. Somehow we're disconnected. And so sometimes our hormones go out of control. And then we eat sugar. And then the sugar that we eat reacts with the out of control hormones. And then next thing you know, we have what they call sugar, diabetes. Well, those are hormonal and internal effects to something that's happening outside of you. Some of us are suffering from high blood pressure because we're always in fight or flight. We're always worried. We're always stressed out to the point where Our heart is pumping so hard that the blood is forcing and coursing through our veins like this. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. And the pressure's too high. And that pressure ends up eating up at the tissues inside of our arteries and ultimately the valves in our vein. It starts to eat up at that. Then our heart, then we got to take heart medicine because our heart's been working as if we trying to get away from a wildebeest for years. Your heart been working and racing like you running a marathon for years. It's not meant to work like that. So now you got to take heart medicine because it's tired. And it's not beating. It's like do-do-do-do. You got extra beats going on. You got arrhythmia. You got all this stuff happening. It's in our lessons. It's in the problem book. Now we can't walk up the block. See, in the vascular world, we call that intermittent claudication. You can't get up the block because your legs hurt or you're out of breath and you need to wait till it feels better. And then you start again. Well, guess what? We got to move. We got to change our exposure to things. We have to change the way we think about things. But most importantly, as Les Brown just said on that clip that we played at the very beginning, we have to change our conversation with ourselves. See, that's in our study guide. What kind of conversation are you having with yourself right now as we're talking? When you go to reach for that extra meal in a couple of hours and you know you should really be eating one meal a day, ask yourself, what emotion am I responding to that's making me want to grab that snack or that meal? What am I doing? What emotion am I responding to that's making me say, I'm not going to work out? I'm not going to do it. So let's turn that around. Let's turn that around. And he said, what's our goal? We're going to cure diabetes. We're going to cure high blood pressure. We're going to get ourselves in shape. We're going to lose weight. What are we going to say first thing we're going to do? We're going to say, it's possible. We're not going to say, I'm about to lose 50 pounds. I'm about to knock this hot 75 off. Because you know you probably ain't going to do it. You're going to have another conversation in your brain that's going to say, if you don't sit your fat butt down somewhere, you know you ain't going to lose no 75 pounds. See, you've already programmed yourself to have those conversations with yourself. Nah, you ain't going to be able to get off of this. But what? What is it about? And I'm going to go into a little territory here that a lot of us may not be comfortable with. And there's so much talk now about COVID-19 and the vaccine and all of that. And all of these things are about, are you willing to obey? Are you willing to obey? So I suggest you go get the book, How to Eat to Live. You find you a spiritual source to hold on to. You may not be successful at the beginning. I'm not even going to go there. Let me say it this way. It's about obedience. Okay? Where he tells you to go, go. Where he tells you to stay from, stay from. He's going to get you across on the other side safely, on the cross, on the other side of what? On the other side of our impediments. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you got to go study. On the other side of our challenges, on the other side of what's holding us back and what's preventing us from becoming a God. How do we close the gap? See, getting us on the other side is closing that gap between who we are and who God says we are. And who God wants us to be. So if you read, and this is for those of us as Muslims, and I'll address those of us who are not Muslims later, but those of us who Muslim, who, if he says eat one meal a day, he says exercise so you can walk up the block, then this ain't about, you might not die if you don't eat one meal a day, but it's about obedience. See, when you start to obey God and love and obey God, now he can use you. He can't use you if you don't obey. If he tell you to go over there and then you go this way, well, you can't really use this person other than to use them as an example of what direction not to go in. You don't want to be that person. You can decide in your mind today that you want to lose weight. And I'm not talking about a quick fix. I'm talking about just make the decision. Tell yourself it's possible. Stop right there. Don't go look for a pill. Don't go look for a quick fix. Don't think if I take this and I drink that and I do this or that. Just say, you know what? It's possible. It's possible for me to lose 20 pounds. It's possible. And work on that in your mind before you leap to the solution. Now, let's say you're not a Muslim and you say, you know what? I read How to Eat to Live. I heard the minister say don't take the vaccine. You know, I'm not with that. You know, I'm Christian and I don't feel like I should listen. Well, you may not self-combust. You might not die. But understand that truth is God. I'm going to say it again. The truth is a representation and a manifestation of God. So when somebody tells you the truth, I don't care where it comes from. You should be in the practice and in the process of learning how to accept truth. I don't care if it comes from a baby. See, God is God. He works through whoever he wants to. He uses whomever he chooses. He straightens the means of subsistence for whomever he pleases. So you guys hear me say this when I left Indianapolis as a young Muslim to move to Chicago. Brother Yusuf Muhammad, may he rest in peace, looked at me dead in my face. And he said, now you listen to me, sister. You look for Allah in everything. He said, you go up there and you look for Allah in everything. And we always joke, you probably heard Brother Jamil say on one of the other calls, and Brother Yusuf would speak in riddles. And then he'd say, you understand what I'm saying? And you'd be like, no, not really. But this time he didn't ask me if I understood what he was saying. He just said, now you go up there and you look for Allah in everything. That was the most valuable advice that I have ever gotten in my entire life. Because everywhere I go, I look for Allah. I look for him in nature. I look for him in situations. I look for him in opportunities. I look for him everywhere. Where is he? Every single where. And so that allows truth to come to me much easier because I'm looking for it. I'm looking for the truth. I'm looking for Allah. I'm looking for the love. I'm settling on the best part. So I'm not about, let me make somebody feel bad. Let me dog them out. If somebody sits down next to me and they going through something and they got a problem, and I say, okay, where's Allah in this? Allah might be in it because he might want me to hear what that person is going through because I'm headed down the same path. Allah might be there because I've experienced what that person is going through. I'm not a trophy. So when Allah allows us to be victorious, that don't mean we just sit on the shelf and be cute and collect dust. It means that now that trophy has to be like water, like a serpent. It has to do like the rod in the story about Moses. It has to melt down and become that fluid thing that teaches and shows people something. It's not that now you got a victory, you all that, you go sit on the shelf, collect dust and say, look at me. Well, after a while, you've been sitting on the shelf so long, reveling in your victory, people don't even notice that you're there. You're so dusty and dirty that you need to be renovated and resurrected, even though you won a long time ago. I'm just rambling. I hope this makes sense because I wanted to talk about love today. And I really want us to understand what it means to love. Of course it's romantic. Of course it's flowers. Of course it's hugs and kisses. And of course it's all of that. But love is so much deeper than that. Love of self makes you so much more powerful than that. Loving God and loving somebody, like we talked about what my brother did with my cousin, loving somebody and just loving life enough and say, you know what, brother, let me holler at you for a minute. And just doing it in the way that you know how to do it. You didn't hear my brother hear what he was saying to him. He just talked to him in the way in which their relationship is built. And so I just want to say to us that you have in the everyday life, in the everyday way, that you have a conversation with one another. See, because we are in one another's lives for a reason. And we can help love and support one another if we're there for one another. Don't be in a relationship going, let me get the one up. Let me hurt them. Let me do some abuse because that's going to make me feel like I'm powerful. I want to be like the white man. I want to be like the slave master. I want to make people feel bad. I want to put my foot on their neck. They don't know who they dealing with. And so we come with this aggressive behavior in the name of God, in the name of helping. Really? Really? That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about us taking the time to not only love ourselves, but love on one another. And I think we have to ask ourselves a question. Who are you? Who are you really? See, you are what you do. You are what you preach. Who are you really? We like to say, be and it is. We all like to quote that, be and it is. Well, who do you need to become in order to have the things that you want? You can't say, I'm a junk food eater and not have junk on your body. Junk in the form of fat and disease. You can't say that. You got to be able to say, well, I'm a healthy eater. I love myself. Maybe I'm not perfect, but what I put in my body demonstrates the fact that I love myself. And that then becomes what my subconscious, which is your body, reflects. I heard Tony Robbins say that he can look at you and tell what your habits are. You can't hide from people who can see. You can't talk one way, and people who can hear, they hear you. They hear who you are. But one of the prayers that I asked Allah way back when Brother Yusuf told me to look for Allah in everything was I said, I was thinking about my grandmother. I was actually literally sitting in the mosque and I was thinking about my grandmother and I thought, wow, she was so gifted as a clairvoyant and a psychic, really. She could just look at you and she would know things. Now, my mother's on here. She can bear witness. She could look at you. I don't care if it was something deep down inside, something that was happening to your body. She could look at you and read. She always could read. But I always thought, and may she forgive me for saying this, but I think this is all about each generation getting better. I always thought that she was mean with it. I always thought that she had the gift of sight, but that she was a little mean with it because the way it would come out of her mouth, it would be a little painful. It would be hurtful to you. And so I said, well, you know what, Allah? You put it in my mother to teach us that each generation is supposed to do better. And I said, I know I have that gift of foresight and clairvoyancy. What if I use that? And what if I promise that if you elevate that in me, that I would use it for good and I would use it for you to turn people towards you? That was my prayer. Because I said, we all have gifts. But how do we take those gifts? Staying on the subject with my brother and my cousin. My brother is gifted at talking to people. What if he used his gift to help save people's lives like he just did? I'm not talking about become a pastor or a preacher or a minister, because we all are pastors and preachers and ministers in our own right. But I'm talking about just uplifting people in your everyday, ordinary life, just uplifting people. When you see things, help people. When people will come to me and see things, instead of busting out what I see and hear when they're talking to me, saying it to them in a way that they can digest it so that it will be fuel and food for them and not embarrassment and crushing them. That even sometimes means withholding what you might see. So you see things about somebody, you might have to fall back. You may have to say it's not time. You may have to ask, Allah, should I say this to this person? Is it time for them to know these things? Is it my place to say this? Or you may say, Allah, give me a way to say this and show this person so that I can help them because I see them really struggling with this. See, I'm talking about coming from a space of love, not coming from a space of bussing people out and treating them a certain kind of way. Oh, thank you, Brother Jamil. All praises due to Allah. So anyway, with that, you all, look, let me just give y'all some announcements. Excuse how I'm dressed today. I'm going to a demolition sale this morning, so I just had to get ready. All I got to do is put my Timbs on and go to the demolition sale. I don't have to go back and get dressed and everything, so that's why I'm dressed like this. But y'all know I usually try to respect y'all and present a little bit better, but today I'm not being disrespectful. I just have something to do. Sure, you go out. I put in the chat here, do for self. That's what you can text to 855-574-9099. That will get you text from the Sajdah Circle of Winners. It'll come in, it'll say Mind of an Entrepreneur, and then it'll have the text and the flyer. Make sure you go out and get your commemorative Elijah coin. Go to sajdahhouse.com, put in the discount code HEM4847, and tune in. Come kick it with us tonight. Look, I always tell y'all when my cousins from down south come, y'all better watch out. You know how you get somebody be messing with you? You be like, y'all wait till my cousins come up here from down south. Put something in the chat if you know that reality. Wait till my cousins come up. And you always had them cousins from down south that would come up, that could fight, that wouldn't nobody mess with you. Once your cousins came. Well, my cousins from down south then came for me again. And my brother Abdul Halim Muhammad called me the other day with such encouraging words about Sajdah House. And he said, you know what? He said, we're going to do a show. And we're going to sell some coins. We're going to get some donations. We're going to talk about this house. So once y'all come join, kick it with us. Okay, don't be ashamed if you like, I can't get no coin. No, come participate in the conversation. Jump in the chat. Have fun with us. Get the energy. So my cousins from down south, they having something for me today at 6 p.m. It's 6 p.m. Central Time. His show is called Connecting the Dots. And you'll see the flyer right here on my Instagram. I want you guys to join us. It is going to be fun. Come and hang out with me and my cousins from down south. Look, I had to call the cousins. They always come to give you some courage. When they go back home, the people from up north be like, I'm going to kick her butt as soon as her cousins leave. I'm just kidding. Oh, man. But the cousins then came. And the cousins came for the sister. And they came for your sister. And they're going to hang out. We're going to hang out tonight. 6 p.m. Central Time. The flyer is right here. Thank you all who supported the petition and wrote letters and helped us. We made it another step. We only got 2 more steps to go before the National Historic Registry. The next step is on October 7th, which is the birth anniversary of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. You can't make these dates up. September 22nd was 90 years of his service, and 90 years of him meeting his teacher, our Savior, Master Father Muhammad. 90 years to the day. And now we're coming up on October 7th. And anybody who saw that recording, it was truly divine. And shout out to Reverend Tolliver. I can't wait to talk to him. Listen, you just can't make this stuff up. That's what me and Minister Carlos say now. We just go, you can't make this stuff up. This is just what's happening. Thank you for everybody who did that. Tune in tonight at 6. Next Wednesday, the hottest show on Instagram Live, the Mind of an Entrepreneur, or Mode Today series on Black Muslim businesses. You don't want to miss it. We're going to be talking to Sister Treshay, and she's shy. So we need y'all to join in and support her. Let her know that she's loved. Let's uplift her. That flyer is here as well. So yes, and October 7th, we're also going to do something very, very special at the Elijah Muhammad House. We'll be outside, and we're going to do a broadcast. So mark your calendars for that. But if you join the winning circle, then you'll hear about it. Anyway, I'm gonna get out of here, y'all, before they cut us off. We might have a few minutes for a quick song. I want you all to think about love. So I'm gonna give y'all something to think about and play on the way home and on your way out. This is Love of My Life by our sister Erykah Badu. We're gonna go out on this. We got about 2 minutes. Give me a thumbs up if you can hear that. The love of your life. I always tell people that loving God, that's the love of my life. Allah is the love of my life. And from that, I'm able to do so many things in his name. Just allowing him to flow through us. Love me some Erykah. That's right. Erykah Badu. That's right. I'm still playing Yayo because of you. Oh, brother. Yeah, Yayo is awesome. I love Yayo. Lots of hearts. We got a few minutes to listen to our sister Erykah. Maybe Sister Erykah will tune in tonight with the cousins from down south, since she's from that region, the Southwest region. Tune in and kick it with us, Sister Erykah, tonight. We'll tag you on this music. Don't y'all be mad at me if y'all tune in and y'all don't see Sister Erykah there. I'm just letting y'all know I'm inviting her. Okay? Have a phenomenal day. Pick somebody today and love on them. Encourage somebody today. Give somebody a smile. Hold the door open for somebody. Do something for somebody. Give them an orange. Give them a peach. Give them a nickel.
I can't be stopped because I'm like the MC and I'm as light as a rock.
Y'all hear that?
What's up, baby?
All right.
I got that.
Well, my name is Apples, and I rock your world. I'm also known as the Gucci girl. Well, I'm super cute and good and bad. 30, 26, 36 and a half.
Anyway, come hang out with the cousins and me tonight. 6 p.m. Central Time. Brother Abdul Halim Show, the Dot Connector, or Connecting the Dots. The flyer is posted here on Instagram. Peace and blessings, y'all. I'm going to the demolition sale and get some good stuff for Sajdah House. Peace and blessings, y'all.